This is a video on how to, this is a video on just some suggestions and tips for when you are trying to move items from one location to another, for when you are trying to plan movement. There are several ways to do this within inventory management. I will show you what I think is a practical way. And let's get started. So right now we're looking at the Voyages page, but I would like to get started with tracking right here. On the tracking page, you can move items from one place to another. When you do this, no planning is required, right? You can move items from one place to another without any planning on the same date. So you would just select, for this example, we are going to use scripts. You will just select the items you are trying to move items from, and select a place to where you're trying to move items to. We are doing moving items from scripts to Sally Ride. I will move CTD deck unit from scripts to Sally Ride. I will just note the barcode. All right. Now, when you move items from one place to another on the same date, the date of your movement will be registered, and you can on this screen select a port of discharge. When or where do you want this item to be discharged? We do not advise you to do this because inventory management is linked with schedule construction, and there are some errors that can happen when a scheduler changes the dates on schedule construction. So we do not suggest you go this route. What we suggest is that if item needs to be later moved from Sally Ride to somewhere else, you either create a transport or you link a plan list onto a cruise. I will show you those two methods in a second. So what we suggest you do is select unknown. You do not, even if you know when this item should be discharged on which port, select unknown if you are moving items on this page. I hope that makes sense. Alright, it has been moved on 6/24, that's today's date. So barcode was 67. Okay, this is the item. I just want to show you how it looks like on the equipment overview page. 67, all groups. Just want to show you how it looks like. Planning. Right now, the CTD was moved to Sally Ride, and it will stay there. Oh, sorry about that. And it will stay there forever, right? That's what the system thinks, because we have no transport to take it off, no planned to take it off. So the item will stay on the ship forever. So do not be alarmed when you see things like this on the calendar. And NOPP1AR is just the name of the cruise on which the item was placed. All right. I just wanted you to be aware. All right, now let's say that this item is on the ship, and later in the future, in several months, we plan to take it off. We plan to take it off the ship. Go to the plan list tab here on the left. New ADCP test can be edited by my group or by everyone. It's up to you, or by me. Normal plan list, it is not a template. And let's link this to a transport. Never mind, not to a transport, but to a cruise. We are starting with linking plan lists to a cruise first. So, okay. Save. And we want to just take off ADCP from the ship. Sally ride, voyage, transit, cruise. Okay. Unload port San Diego. Save. Okay. And we are trying to ADCP. Well, let's barcode was. Oh no, it was a ADCP or CTD. I think it was a CTD. Never mind. CTD 1767. This one. Let's add this item to this plan list. And we are done with this part. All right. Now let's go back to voyages. And let's find the cruise that we linked the plan list to. Sally ride. It was this transit cruise. All right, now we can see that to this transit, there is a plan list linked at the end of the transit. Click on equipment, and we have, I believe it was ADCP test. Incorrectly labeled because it should have been CTD. But anyways, the plan list is linked to this port now, to this cruise. And let's unload the items. Let's unload the CTD that we want to take off Sally ride. Unload. We have the CTD, and we want to unload it. Want to unload it. Let's say at Scripps Institution of Oceanography. So we drag, look, and it is telling us, do you want to move this item from the vessel because it was scheduled to stay there indefinitely? Yes, we do want to move this this item from Sally ride to Scripps. Okay. Let's say ship came into port. Ship came into port in a different country, and we need to discharge of the item at the international port, and we need to ship the item from the international port back home to San Diego. This will require a transport. You cannot just simply unload an item at the international port via this simple plan list method, and you do need to use transport instead, because you can't just leave this item, at an international port. Makes sense. So how you would do this is you would go again back to voyages, and you would create a transport. You would create a transport. In this instance, for the transport that we used, the example that we used, Sally Ride came into its home port, right? So transport might not be required in that case unless you are shipping, items from the home port to a facility that you have somewhere miles away. Test CTD 3. Do not pay attention to project number, it is irrelevant. Expected pickup. So we are picking items from a cruise, Sally Ride. We are picking items from this, again, transit cruise from San Diego. And for example, let's say we are wanting to ship items from port to a facility somewhere in San Diego. Expected pickup. So if the ship comes in on the on the 6th, let's say that we are picking the items from the ship on the 8th of July. 8th of July, picking them up at the University of California. From the port, let's say on the 9th, to a facility. I don't have many facilities here, so I'm just gonna say MARFAC shipping, receiving. Save. Up. And this will be done, let's say, for maintenance. We're taking an item off for maintenance. Alright, so now you have this transport made. We need to attach plan list to this transport. You can either create a new plan list here, or if there are several groups involved, after you create this transport, users or these groups can make their plan lists and link them to a transport instead of a cruise. Let me do this really quick. Test CTD4 can be edited by my group, and this is the crucial step here. Instead of linking it to a cruise, you now link it to a transport. Again, you go through the same process of adding items from the ship to the plan list. Let's go back to voyages, transports, and down here you see that the plan list is automatically linked to the transport. After it is linked, you go through the steps of loading items from the international dock, or from San Diego in our instance. Okay. Items are loaded from the dock to the transport, to a box or to a carrier. Register departure. Departure happened on the 24th. Register the arrival, when the items have arrived from port to MARFAC. I know they are very close together, but we will ignore that fact at the moment. And again, this is an interesting step as well. One item will automatically be unloaded at our MARFAC shipping facility. If you do not want this item to be unloaded on MARFAC, but instead somewhere else, go to unload, select select the location of where you want to specifically unload these items if it is not Marfac shipping facility, and move the item to Scripps instead of Marfac. Move anyway. You will receive a pop-up in this instance saying, hey, these items were actually scheduled to be removed at Marfac, and you are removing them at Scripps Institution of Oceanography. Do you want to continue to move the items? Maybe you do need to advise with the supervisor before proceeding to change the location. Alright, it is done. Now we just need to register the arrival.